Hello, beautiful people of Twitch. We're back again after a week break. Woo! This is PodcaS, episode 5. And today I'm joined by JeTz, Ray, and our special guest this week, TheVestman.
Oh my god, that picture is incredible.
Oh my god.
Are we going to clap for him too? We should clap for him too. Come on, we clap for GB. Come on.
Yeah.
I was laughing at the picture because it's so great. I can just see him making that face.
Oh yeah, the picture. Do you see it, Vest?
Yeah, no, I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you again, Rocky, for that amazing art.
As always, the art is made by Rocky, and Rocky, you are a legend. You are insane. So thank you so much.
So unfortunately today we are not joined by Wingo.
Yeah. Deja vu.
Yeah, if you guys watched the first episode, you would know that he has done this before. Good thing he's auto-hosting us though, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
big man Wingo. Let's go.
Thank you, Wingo. Yeah, he's apparently at the after party for the royal wedding.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep.
I guess
Yeah.
JeTz wasn't invited to that, I guess.
No, I actually left early. So
to join us, yeah.
Yeah.
Do that one.
yeah. I'll tell you what, David Beckham, he's a talker. He's a talker. But you can't shut him up. It's insane.
Is that where Wingo is?
Yeah, talking to
Talking to
David Beckham
David.
stuff. Yeah.
Sports.
All right.
Sports.
All right, so Vest, our second special guest, but
Hi.
you know, that doesn't.
Just a special.
Hello.
Yeah, just as special as our first guest.
Even
Nowhere
more
near as
special.
special as what I'm
No,
hearing.
no,
What do you mean?
Infinitely less special.
Definitely is equal as special.
Also, guys, if you let us know how Vest's sound level is, he's usually low for us, but we'll see how it is.
Nah,
on
he
stream.
pumped it up. This should be okay.
Okay.
So let me know.
I just keep it low.
Okay. So Vest, who are you and what do you do?
I'm a sentient vest. Got struck by lightning once while I was floating through the air.
All right, so you're living Vest.
Yeah. I mean, I assume everyone here knows me, but for the sake of it, I'm GB's assistant editor, many other things.
Mastermind and
Yeah, the behind the scenes person. I also freelance in games media primarily, well, only for IGN now. I try to get away from saying primarily. I don't do the other places anymore. Just IGN. I've also helped Glow a little bit, setting up on Twitch, and most recently, it was announced that I'll be helping Dizzy Kitten out for ASMR content as well.
Nice. So, like, congrats on that.
Yep.
yeah, congrats. Getting around a bit.
Popular Vestman.
Yeah.
So does that just include just editing her ASMR videos, or?
I edit the ASMR. I edit the majority of the gaming, although Dennis did a few. I think some other people have uploaded and shared some stuff as well.
So you're gonna be like her main man, though.
Yeah. I'm obvious. You guys heard it before. She told the story, but I'm responsible for the Discord.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You completely forgot?
No. Responsible for the GB Discord. Is that what?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, for all Discord. I'm actually the president and CEO
I
of
thought
the
you meant
Discord.
Dizzy Kitten had a Discord, and then
No,
you're in charge of that.
She
as well.
does. I'm not
Okay.
I have nothing to do with that.
Okay.
But no, I'm the one that got the Discord going, and obviously, like, I'm still. I still have an overarching influence. I try to keep in touch with the mods and everything. But yeah, just like anything that's like, you know, it's very much like the movie industry, right? Like GB's the personality, and I'm just the person behind the scenes, making sure everything works. I've done camera stuff like through the internet. Like, I'm not there, obviously, but I tell her like how to, like, should we change this lighting? Can you like adjust the green screen? Blah 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 blah.
I see. A lot of shit. You're basically the producer.
Pretty much.
In many ways, yeah. It's evolved into that, yeah.
You keep the ship floating, basically. So, yeah.
I thought you said shit.
Ship.
Yeah.
Ship.
Whichever works, you know.
Yeah.
It's
Has she given you an according pay raise to each of the added responsibilities that you?
I am still starting out, or I'm at the same starting rate. So you know what? Maybe there needs to be a contract update in the future.
Indeed. We'll back you up on that, Vest. Don't worry.
I have to talk to GB about that.
Yeah, GB, if you're watching this in the VOD,
give the man a goddamn pay rise, please.
He deserves it. He works hard. Okay. Well, before we move on to, actually, it's more relevant right now. So, what got you interested in, I guess, working with GB and like editing her videos? Because that's where it started, as she said.
I mean, in all honesty, it wasn't specifically GB.
Mm-hmm.
I just, I treated it very much as a job, and I've had people also approach me like, how'd you get started? Like, how do you get started in this field? Because it's like an emerging field, right? And I treated it like I would any other job. So, I have no ill will towards what I do at IGN, but it's not sustainable. So I was getting to the point where it's like, I really need to find other things. And although I like writing, for work, I enjoy video stuff more. Like writing for me is a hobby. I don't want to pursue what I do with IGN as my full-time career. So I took time to like reflect on myself, like what I like most and what I could do as a job and not hate it. And that was video work. So I thought like, okay, well, where's a lot of video work happening right now on YouTube and Twitch? And I also listen to a lot of ASMR, growing amounts of ASMR, because little known fact, but I have pretty severe tinnitus in my left ear. So that's why I listen to ASMR. It's not to help me sleep. It's just I just need background noise, or I'm gonna go mad. So I listened to ASMR, and I found the first person I could distinctly remember finding was Fast ASMR. She's, I think, German, but eventually it led me to GB, and I watched GB stuff for a while. And when I got to the point where I was like, I want to pursue video stuff, and I realized YouTube is this growing area, and a lot of the ASMR people I'm watching, like I'm seeing stuff that I know I could fix. Like when I watch GB's videos, it's like I can do the green screen, I can show her or edit the green screen better for her, or I can give her these suggestions, or I can, a lot of these people a couple of years ago when they were starting ASMR, or even now when people start ASMR, they're starting on kind of bare bones stuff. And I've got this computer over here that's like, it's an editing computer that I've been using for IGN. So I can get the footage and crank it out much, much faster. And I know what I'm doing and blah, blah, blah. So I just started approaching people. I think I emailed about 25 different people across Twitch and YouTube. I got about 8 or 9 answers back, and GB and one other were the only one who were genuinely interested.
Damn. Apparently, you write very good emails, though. So
that's apparently.
That's
like I said, I treat it like a job. Like it's basically a cover letter of an email. It's short and to the point. It's just I have like the 3-paragraph thing that I think a teacher or something told me about years ago, where it's the first paragraph is just who you are and why you're reaching out. The second paragraph is your qualifications and what you can bring to it, and the third paragraph is wrapping up and references.
Smart. Usually my messages go like, "Hey, I was wondering if you were able to do this thing for me."
I mean, that's there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but like for me, like I'm specifically looking for a job, right? So I wanted it to give off like a lot of YouTubers and a lot of Twitch personalities, or just content creators, I guess is the better term. A lot of content creators aren't necessarily familiar with hiring help or employing people, right? Like I don't think GB had any meaningful like long-term employment person before me that I know of, and I'm sure there's a lot of ASMR creators that don't. So like when I sent the emails out, like I wanted it to be clear. It's like I'm not reaching out to help because I'm a fan. Like I'm reaching out because I want employment.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. And well,
Are you a fan of her work now, though?
Yeah, no, I like I said, I listened to GB. The first video I found on her channel was it's like the 5th one now or the 4th. I don't, because things have happened, as you guys are aware of. The eye exam one. That was the first one I remember because I could still remember the crickets or whatever it is in the background. And that's the first one I found. And I enjoy all her stuff. Admittedly, and most of you guys know this, I'm not an anime person. I'm not. So a lot of her roleplay stuff falls flat with me.
Yeah.
But the traditional like eye exam, ear exam, like all that stuff I still really enjoy.
Oh yeah, there's definitely like a split between like people who like the role plays kind of stuff and just like the
Traditional triggers.
Stuff like that. I don't know. I don't mind watching either personally, but if it's not something that I get, then I'll be lost. Obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like this is a nice ASMR video. That's about it. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, usually with the roleplays, like the very first time I watched the Korra roleplays, I had never watched Last Airbender, never watched Korra. I was like, what the hell is going on? And then I've watched the series, and I've kind of gone through with most of her roleplays and watched like the actual original content, and it just makes the roleplay so much better because obviously you know the context and stuff like that. So
yeah, understand all the references and all that.
Yeah,
obviously the video game stuff for me is more meaningful. Like I don't know if she even never said it, but the Zelda roleplay, I'm the one that penned most of the script for that. So because I am very intimately aware of the Zelda universe, so even going back to watch it, I'm like, oh my, like there's still things in there that aren't exactly how I should have had them written because. I mean, the video is dealing with time travel, which was, but like the Zelda one like really hit home for me, or the Last of Us one. She did that all herself, but like I gave her like ideas of like where to go, and obviously Wingo worked with her a little bit on the script as well. So the game ones definitely hit home, but the anime ones, I'm starting to appreciate not Korra so much, but at least the Avatar universe because I'm slowly watching it. So I'm sure I'll understand the Korra stuff when I get to Korra. I know who Azula is now. I'm that far.
yeah.
I'm far enough to know who Azula is. So
yeah, making your way.
I think the only one I know, the only role play I've like gotten context to is like the Mercy one.
Oh yeah, Mercy.
I'll have to look back in her like character role play videos. Well, maybe Raven from Teen Titan. That's like the only one. Other than that, I wouldn't know, but yeah.
Okay.
I'd say like I laugh more at like the cheeky references. Like
Yeah,
from the
sure.
Overwatch one, I was like, that's funny.
With the character role plays, I view it as entertainment more than ASMR.
Oh, for sure.
But GB is a fantastic actress, so I just enjoy it. Like you've got that nice relaxing side, but you've also got that funny joking side. Before we actually change topic, Vest, I do want to ask if GB could do any game or TV show roleplay, what would you personally want?
That's an interesting question. I don't know if I have. Zelda would be very close, and she did a really great job on the Zelda one.
I would.
I honestly don't know. Like I default to Final Fantasy. That's my favorite franchise, but I don't. At the same time I want something that she would be enthusiastic in playing, and she's like so far removed from the Final Fantasy fandom.
Yeah.
Like, you literally could not get any farther. So maybe something from Kingdom Hearts, because that's like a nice middle ground.
Yeah, okay.
Because she loves Kingdom Hearts, but it's Final Fantasy adjacent.
Yeah, okay.
So maybe like something like that where you're referencing Final Fantasy characters or that. Yeah, the only other one I could think of that she might enjoy, and she's kind of mentioned. I'm curious to see what she does for the BioShock one, if she ever does a BioShock one. I know she kind of wants to. I think that'd be interesting.
I know Nerdy Goth Kitty came up with an idea for that as well. So
yeah,
It's like Elizabeth or like the Little Sisters. That's the only thing I can
Yeah,
think
it was
of.
a little sister, I believe. But
Mhm.
I mean, GB could do Elizabeth, to be honest.
Yeah.
But she
From
hasn't played Infinite,
Yeah.
so
from the TV side of things, I watch precious little TV. That's part of the reason why it takes me so long to get through. Like even Avatar, it's taking me months to get through it because I don't. If I'm at my computer, I'm watching Twitch, YouTube, etc., and then
Yeah.
I basically go from my computer to laying in bed and falling asleep in 5 minutes.
Yep.
I'm fortunate. I know like a lot of this Discord is like they toss and turn in bed, and that's why you listen to ASMR.
what do you mean?
For me, it's not like I hit bed and I'm out cold, thankfully. So
Sounds nice.
so I don't have a lot of. I just don't take a lot of personal time to watch stuff like that. But if I go back and think of stuff from before, like something from Digimon would be awesome. Like I loved Digimon as a kid.
That'd be interesting.
Maybe something from like the Supernatural or Smallville fandom, or even going to comic books. Like she's played Raven, but something like Wonder Woman or hell, she could even like gender bend. Oh, I guess there's Supergirl. Instead of yeah, any of those DC heroes. I'm more DC than Marvel, which I get it. Lol, DC right now, but
No, that's just how it is, unfortunately, right now.
Yeah,
The Infinite, sorry, not Infinite, Infinity War. There we go.
Yeah.
And being
I still
super
haven't
popular.
watched that. I still haven't watched
You
that.
I haven't seen it either.
should see it.
I should. I really should.
Definitely worth a watch.
I reserved myself to probably not seeing it, so I just read a plot synopsis online because I knew inevitably people wanted to talk about it. So I was like, well, I want to kind of talk about it, so I'm just going to read the damn plot.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I had it spoiled for me at work, so I know what happens. So
That's
Is that like
man.
before the movie came out as well?
This is the thing. Like, I want to watch something and then it gets spoiled. So it happened
Just
with
don't want to watch
both
anything.
new
and then
Star
it gets
Wars
spoiled.
films. Yeah, okay. I'm not a fan of anything anymore.
There you go. Then nobody will know, like, oh, you're a fan of this, right? Well, I watched it already, so here's a spoiler.
Yeah.
You know, that's what people do to you, I guess.
The thing is, like, especially if you're a mod on Discord or Twitch now, like, you have to see the thing the first day, otherwise you will run into that spoiler. So, I mean, it's kind of my own fault, to be honest, but you know, I don't mind. Like, the Last of Us playthrough, I played half of the game, got to the bit where you get the car, and then completely stopped playing because my older brother moved out and took the PlayStation.
Isn't that like the first 5 minutes of the game?
No.
Oh, that's pretty far.
The car is
when,
about a third of the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
when you go to see his friend,
Yeah.
where there's all the
You
traps.
get stuck upside down.
Yeah. I got to there, and then GB started playing it, and I was like, I actually don't know what happens after this, so I had to watch playthroughs, kind of find out what happens, just so I could keep my eye out for spoilers, because from what I played from the game, because it's a Naughty Dog game, I love Naughty Dog games, I didn't want that to be spoiled. And I think there was only one spoiler throughout the whole playthrough, so I'm happy.
Last of Us was surprisingly troll-free.
Yeah.
The biggest issue we've had with spoilers has been not even game-related. It was Star Wars.
Yes.
I was banning. I don't. JeTz, were you even a mod yet on Twitch? For Star Wars?
Yeah, because that was actually 12-hour stream. You actually put like a thing on the bot, didn't you? Where you had to ban certain names.
I put in every Star Wars term I could think. Like Star Wars, Luke, Skywalker, Vader. Like there was like 50 terms, and there were people just genuinely trying to talk about like normal Star Wars. It's getting flagged, and I kept putting in chat like, sorry, but like anything Star Wars is getting you timed out because like literally the day before someone came in and just dumped walls of text, and we didn't catch it fast enough. So I was like, to hell with this. We're going like we're putting up the wall. It's going to be glorious, and it's blocking everything Star Wars.
Yeah.
I remember those days. Not that I was a mod on Twitch. I'm just saying I remember around that time, like the tension in the air around like Star Wars spoilers.
Yeah.
Like the Twitch chat. It was just like anywhere and everywhere you look, you're just like, oh man, there's a Star Wars spoiler.
I still haven't seen it.
I mean, we made the hard rule on the Discord as well. I put a
Yeah.
big announcement out like, you spoil
Indeed.
it, I don't care what rank you are, you're getting booted immediately.
Mhm.
So
Totally fair.
Yeah.
As
I
far as I
didn't-
remember, a lot of people followed that, so I didn't see anyone that got banned for that.
on the Discord, there's a few people we gave like don't put, because they were doing like the fake spoiler thing. I
the
remember
fake spoiler,
talking to a few people about the fakes or like the pseudo spoilers, but no one outright got banned. Just a few like, you need to tone this down sort of.
Yeah,
That's the thing about, I guess, modding and like with the spoilers and stuff. It kind of like people want to make their jokes and stuff, but it kind of
It's
is a
not funny.
spoiler.
yeah.
In a way, I don't know. Personally, that's
It's-
what I think.
It's really it's a really touchy subject, especially like in the Twitch area, because that's also, spoilers are also connected to like the same line of thinking as like backseat gaming or talking about the game in the chat.
Mhm.
Like even just the act of saying, "Oh, watch out in this room ahead," technically a spoiler because you're implying something is going to happen in this room.
Yeah,
So that
yeah,
now that
that's what I
person's
was
coming
thinking.
into that room with expectations.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And like there's been times where we've been like, you're trying to be helpful, and that is amazing. And like obviously you're in chat, you're talking, like all of that's great. Just like don't like resist the urge to talk about the game right now. Because like
Yeah.
especially when GB's playing, like, or anyone, if you're playing like a story driven game where like something like Last of Us, where every room is an encounter or is something important or is something relevant to what is going on, even if your expectations are changed a little bit, that can have a drastic influence on your enjoyment.
Yeah.
So like there's been a lot of times where it's just like, guys, please like tone it back a bit. Like if she gets to the point where she needs help, GB will more than readily turn the chat and be like, God, please help me.
Yeah, that's even when somebody says like a game or a movie is like good, it gives me an expectation, and I feel like that's like a spoiler in a way because you're spoiling like how I should feel about it. I guess I don't know. I'm very picky about spoilers and stuff. If it's something that I really care about, then I'm gonna be like, no, don't tell me anything. Shut up.
No, I'm the same way. Like if there's a game coming out, Final Fantasy 15 for entrance. Wow, those are instants.
Mhm.
I didn't read any of the reviews. I just bought the game, came home and played it.
Yeah,
And then after I had played it for a few hours, I was getting a feel for it. I was like, this is okay, but I'm not
You're like,
sure.
okay, what
And
are
then I
people
read the
gonna do?
reviews, and everyone's like, yeah, the game's okay, but eh. And I was like, all right, so I'm pretty much on, I'm right down the middle with everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd want to do that as well. But, all right. The next topic, my bad. I went on tangent about spoilers, but yeah.
That's fine. Yeah.
So I know that me, Ray, and JeTz already know the origins of your online name, but for people who
Yes.
don't know,
The
would you like
Vestman.
to? Yes, would you like to explain that to them?
In high school, I used to wear quite literally just wore a vest a lot, like almost every day, because I was a large boy. A lot of you have heard that I've lost a lot of weight, but most of you have only got here towards the end, so you didn't see it come off. If you look at my like old Twitch VODs, you can see big boy vest. And so in high school, one of the side effects, and Gryphon, you said you were bigger when you were younger, so you might be able to. When you're a big fellow, tend to be very hot all the time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I would always wear, instead of wearing like jackets or sweaters or anything, I would just wear a vest, because a vest was like the nice middle ground. It'd keep me comfortable, but like it wouldn't make me cook. So I would always wear a vest to school because Canada tends to be cold more often than hot during the school season, since winter, blah blah blah. So I'd wear a vest all the time, and just as high school kids, your friends, like, you start getting nicknames, and there were a lot of Sean's like in my grade. So instead of calling us Sean, they used to refer to us by our last name. So Saris for me. My name is not hidden. So eventually it just kind of evolved from calling me that to, oh hey, it's you're wearing nice vest you got on, or you're wearing a vest again, and then it just evolved to hey vest. So that's where the vest part of it comes from. The actual handle, TheVestman, comes from when I made my Xbox Live account in like 05 or 06 or whatever.
Mhm.
You have to come up with a name, right? They didn't have the randomly generated names. Well, no, because now if you make it, it generates you one. Like it's not even.
Okay.
I'm not even joking. Like you make an Xbox Live account, it gives you a name, and then you have to change it. From
Right.
how I understand it. But back then, like it was just like a blank field, like any other name form. And at the time on TV, a new Batman show had just started. Some of you might remember, called The Batman. And I really liked the emphasis of like the Batman instead of just Batman. So I was like, all right, I've got the nickname Vest already, TheVestman.
Nice.
I love it.
There you go.
So
I
yeah,
didn't
that's
know
what-
it had to do with like a warmth thing. I thought it was like a style choice or something
No.
like that.
No. It was 100% for comfort. Cause like even now, I bet there's people wearing a hoodie or something, and I just like that was never comfortable for me. I'd rather be slightly cold than slightly hot.
Yeah.
So the vest was like that middle ground for me, where it's like, oh, it keeps your core body at a comfortable level, but
Yeah,
your
yeah.
limbs are nice and cool.
You're more flexible. You're not restricted down in your arms.
Exactly.
Yeah, we can play all the video games.
I need to get a vest now. I need to try that out. See if it actually will keep me warm while keeping me flexible. So we'll see.
Time to
And
get
fun
sponsored.
fact, by the time I was in grade 12 and went to prom, the nickname had become so prominent, and I was so like deep into the nickname, I wore a vest to prom. I
my
committed to it. Yeah.
Is there pictures of that?
There's no. I only have one prom picture, and it's with me. I still had the jacket on. You can't see the vest underneath. But it was. I had a black shirt with an emerald green vest, and then I had white pants and a white jacket.
Nice.
I see.
My God. Wait, we need to somehow track down some pictures of this vest. I want to see this vest.
I feel like
There's quite literally like there's none. You got to remember, I went to prom before smartphones were a thing. I'm a bit older. There literally wasn't. iPhone had not been invented yet, so like there's no pictures. The only one I have is, I might be able to share it on the Discord later if I can find it.
yeah.
But the only one I have is the picture like my parents took, like all your parents
Yeah.
do before you go to prom.
Yeah.
And I still had the white jacket on.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Damn.
They know you had a vest underneath?
Crushing my
well,
dreams.
I'm sure they had they knew they paid for the outfit.
I was just,
Let me
maybe
see
trying
the
to sneak
vest.
it in, trying to, maybe it was too big. Like, absolutely not. But,
Did you enjoy prom fest?
Not particularly.
No,
I
I
was,
get you.
I was very much the nerdy kid in my high school. I just went with a couple friends. Whether I went or not would not have influenced any like outcome of my life.
I get you.
Yeah.
That's how I felt about prom as well.
I didn't go to my prom.
Same.
Instead, I stayed at home and played the Uncharted 3 multiplayer beta. So
What a nerd!
I know. I was having a great time. Okay, it was a great beta.
The what? The what beta?
Uncharted 3.
Uncharted 3.
I remember playing that.
Yeah, I had a great time. It was so fun.
I'm assuming that's a multiplayer beta.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know why they would call it a beta if it was like single player. That's a demo right there.
True. You got me there.
It's where beta is like it's like a buzzword now in the gaming industry.
100% is.
Yeah, that's what they call like
and a lot of the times they're not even used as a beta
Yeah, exactly.
thing.
It's just like, hey, play our game early for the hype.
Yeah.
Looking at you, Call of Duty.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Battlefield is guilty of it as well. But I think Battlefield does actually tune some stuff, but yeah, there are some games that are guilty of like, oh yeah, the beta.
It's mostly just stress testing, I think.
Yeah.
Even then, they can't get that right. I don't think so.
There's no way to like simulate what it's gonna be like a launch.
Oh yeah, because more people
are
obviously.
interested, and
yeah,
I mean, and to give into the hype thing that JeTz was talking about. It's like, oh,
yeah,
right.
for sure. All right. So you mentioned that you work for IGN, but you still work for them, correct?
Yeah, I'm still. You guys have seen me playing Pillars of Eternity too. That's my current project for them.
Okay, I see. Have you done any like previous work, like modding community or anything like that, like here in the Discord? of this
On
size?
Discord, no,
Okay.
literally none. When GB was getting started, like I was
Mhm.
in contact with her obviously for a while. As she told you, we emailed back and forth. And
Mhm.
when she was getting the ball rolling, I said to her, like, I know you don't use it, but like Discord is integral to the Twitch crowd. Like it is.
Oh yeah.
Even YouTubers, like there's a lot of the big YouTubers have a Discord, but they don't typically use it as frequently. I think Twitch is definitely more proactive in that regard, where like they
Mm.
push the Discord, they want you on the
I
Discord.
think it's also geared towards gaming more, so I think that's why Twitch. It makes more sense for Twitch crowd and stuff like that.
Totally. So yeah, I knew how the basics of Discord, and I just said to her like, we need to set this up. You don't understand why yet, and like I had to explain it to her, and she it was very much like if it seemed like it was kind of going over her head at the end. That's not an insult, but she didn't know.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm explaining all this to her, and then I just said like, "Don't worry about it. I'll set it up." And then naturally, as I do, I'm like, "Well, I have no idea how to set it up, so I got to figure that part out." Because I knew the basics of Discord, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now now I've got the webhooks, I got the bots, I figure it all out. Like that's like I've said to her, part of the selling point in the email that I sent her, and I think this is a very strong thing for people who want to be behind the scenes or editors or anything, is that you have to be, especially in today's day and age, you have to be very proactive about finding solutions yourself. So like you can't like don't just rely on Google, or don't just rely on asking someone else. Like I didn't I didn't know how to get Discord going other than clicking a few buttons. And now
Yeah.
I know, I'm very intimately aware of what Discord can and cannot do, because I looked at Discord, I read through I read through all the stuff that I could find on it. I read through all the webhook information. I looked at other Discords. I looked at like all this stuff, and like that's definitely paid off. Like just being proactive about trying to figure out things. Like any field really, like you should always be learning, right? But
Yeah.
with the digital stuff, like you have to be so proactive, because
Yeah.
like there might, in 6 months from now, like I might catch wind of someone talking about another social platform, and then like I have to keep an eye on that, because maybe that becomes important and we should switch to that. And
For sure.
yeah, I got sidetracked again. I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it.
No. I'm taking notes. Don't mind me.
I would assume like maybe. Well, I've only created small ass discords, and like this is like the biggest thing I'm involved in terms of like size of a Discord. I would assume that like Discord would probably give you more tools if for like a bigger, like one of this size. I don't know.
Nothing really changes when you get this big.
Mhm.
There is a thing called a Discord partner,
Yeah,
and GB is one, and you can see
Yeah.
it on her profile.
Mhm.
It gives you some perks, but it's mostly like audio quality. So a lot of you probably didn't notice. I did. When she got partner, I swapped the server to partner servers, so we have a higher audio bandwidth available to us. We can go. I think the default's like 128 kilobytes.
Mhm.
We can go all the way up to, I think, 192. It might be
Cool.
256.
Mm.
Um, the partner servers are also on a different server farm. So like if you might notice this once in a while, but like if there's a DDoS attack, or if Discord's having issues, usually the last servers to go down are the partner ones, because they're on a different farm than like the regular ones. So
Mhm.
they experience issues far less frequently than the normal servers. So that's kind of nice.
Okay.
I actually noticed the GB Discord going down first just because I'm in it so much. That's the only reason why I noticed it
That's
going.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's definitely true.
Yeah. Other than that, that's probably a true observation right there.
But to bring it home, no, I was functionally aware of Discord and what I needed to do on it, but I've never run anything bigger than my D&D Discord of 10 people.
Mhm. What about like previous modding kind of stuff, like Twitch chat or like?
Twitch chat, sure.
Mhm.
I've obviously been on Twitch for years, and
Mhm.
even before it was called Twitch. Like I remember watching stuff on Justin TV. I
That's what
remember
it was
watching.
before this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I
remember Justin TV.
remember I remember watching live streams before they were even hosted on a website, like old like MLG streams or StarCraft 1 live streams. And there's no chats or anything to speak of or modding from my perspective, but I'm just like, I was aware of like things. So just kind of like being in those scenes helped me prepare for like what would eventually become this. But the only other major things, I was a mod for a while on the IGN live streams. I didn't really have to do much because, admittedly, the IGN live stream tends to be even smaller than GB's. But I was a mod there for a little while, so I had a little experience there. And also before all the GB stuff, this was several years ago now. My friends, my game writing friends, we all hosted a Dota tournament called the Recreational. Maybe someone has watched it, but and it was all in-house. It was a bunch of game industry folks. So it was like people from IGN, people from Square Enix, people from what's the company called? Campo Sampo, the people that did Firewatch. There's like all these game companies. We all hosted this like this Dota tournament, and I was the primary like caster. I handled getting all the teams together, very much like the same role I did with the GB Cup. Just you guys thought the GB Cup was big. This was even bigger. That's how come I knew. Like going into GB Cup, I kept saying to GB like, "This you don't understand."
How long is
yeah. So like. I had all that experience, and like obviously too, it was hosted on the Recreational channel, which I was a mod on. So like I was watching chat, taking care of all that stuff. So that was like kind of my biggest experience was handling the Recreational.
That sounds like a lot. I don't know. That's just me.
What, the Recreational?
Yeah. Just all the responsibilities that you did.
Sure. To me, it just seems normal, you know.
Okay, I get you. Well, good job. I'm sure it was great.
We did 2 of them, so people enjoyed it.
Okay,
that's good.
Nice.
Is there any plans to do more in the future?
Yeah, third one.
I don't. You would have to contact my friend Mitchell Dyer. He is the
on that chat.
Yep.
The main leader of that.
All right.
I'm just out here hoping for a GB Cup too. So.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it'll happen. It'll happen.
Yeah.
We learned a lot.
I want to kind of ask a question about that, but it's not like relevant. But
Go for it.
Go ahead.
Okay, so Vest, what were some issues do you think that we had with GB Cup, and how would you fix them?
Letting this Team Typhoon play, like, can we be? Like, these guys, I didn't even realize how much you gamed the system. Like,
what do you mean?
Well, who expected Wingo and to
from left field, you know?
I think the biggest thing for the GB Cup was admittedly there was miscommunication between myself and B, who was putting a lot of the bracket stuff together originally.
Yeah.
Because I sent out a form. You guys remember the form to get your information?
Yeah.
I didn't word it well enough, and I didn't communicate it enough to GB and B. That was not supposed to be the sign-up form. That was supposed to be an interest form. Like, I just wanted the information myself so I could look at it and go, okay, we have these people. They're willing to play Overwatch, and they're going to play this role. Do we have enough for teams? Do we have enough to fill out the roles for those teams? Yada, yada, yada.
Right.
But most of the people who filled it out, and GB and Ben, they thought that... Ben. I just B. They thought that I was sending that out to get the actual ball rolling. So we sent that out, I sent that out way early, right? And then we ended up having to wait months and months and months.
Yeah.
So definitely, in the future, obviously I'm going to have to write out something that's a little more well worded, and we'll have to, the time frame needs to be much quicker. I think that was the biggest hiccup, because obviously by the time we got to the GB Cup, most of that information I had gathered was now irrelevant.
Yeah.
So that's by far the biggest issue. It's the time frame's got to be a lot quicker. Like it needs to be at the beginning of the month we get the information, and we're playing by the end of the month.
Yeah.
The other thing is, and things come up. We understand this is no slight against anyone who dropped out, but like we'll probably have to find a way to like guarantee people show up, because like we had rules in place that I thought were pretty meaningful and would have kept the teams pretty balanced. Like I looked at the SR numbers like a dozen times, got input from some of the captains, like what's the minimum SR that seems reasonable, what's the maximum that's like before you're starting to hit all diamond players. Like what's the happy middle ground here that we can have the Rays and JeTz and you guys, and then we can have the people who are still in bronze and silver who want to play, they want to have fun, they want to meet people, but they're just playing at a different level in Overwatch currently. So we had the SR limit, we had the like the list of names with like what they play, so you could pick up like, well, we're gonna have maybe our DPSs are the diamond players, but we can have our supports and our tanks be lowered to kind of balance it out, and it'll all work out fine. But then all of that just kind of exploded, right? Because people were just dropping like flies, and we just had to get people in. Like that's how you guys ended up with Wingo, because his whole team just collapsed. So we'll definitely, like, if we do another one, we're for lack of a better term, we're gonna have to like strong arm people into showing up, because it's not only does it suck to leave that team with only 5 people, but then we have to potentially ruin it for everyone else, because we now have to fill that person with an unknown value, basically.
I think making the sign up date and the date that's going to happen would actually help with that a lot too.
Set it in stone.
Totally. A lot of the problems were all connected to that initial. We asked for information and it was misconstrued because of reasons. But yeah, definitely, like, it's one of those things where if we can get the starting point correct, everything else will kind of fall in line. Because I think the actual game, like the games went smoothly, other than my one hiccup where I didn't put it on tournament mode. But the games all went smoothly. We cranked through them really fast. Other than the disconnects that happened because BNAT was being dumb to Alex's team. But the games went fast. Everyone was really nice. We did manage to get in subs when we needed to. We had the sub pool. Overall, everyone seemed to have a lot of fun. GB really enjoyed the casting. She learned like all the camera work fairly well. I think the actual moment-to-moment experience went well. It was just everything that leading up to it. Like there are so many ways we can get that better.
A lot of road bumps, but as long as we know.
I
mean, we've talked about this extensively in other places, but
I'm sure. And I mean, people are welcome to bring it up when the next one begins to happen, so that we know what people want.
Oh, we'll be vocal.
we talked about it, like Gryphon said, quite a lot. So.
What about you guys? What would you change?
Actually, I want to point out what Bpop said is I think he brings a good point about like them being subs, so we could like attach like their Twitch account or something like that. So we're not getting like just random people signing up or something like that.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. There will be. We're not just going to open it up to everyone. I don't think, because that was definitely an issue. We've also talked about, even though this is less likely, but GB obviously wants to offer rewards. Like you guys got the jerseys, and next time so like better rewards, bigger rewards, and yada yada yada. But that's like that is a drain, right? Like that's a financial drain. So like we thought about like if people have to commit even just $2 to the cup, then that's gonna still be more incentive for them to actually follow through. Plus the follow through will be more meaningful because like you're playing for like an actual trophy and jerseys and like signed, maybe like now that we have the merch, right? We could send signed merch.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
Oh my god. Okay.
Signed jerseys.
Sign me up. I'm ready.
And even if that makes smaller, like maybe we don't end up with the same amount of teams. If we only end up with 4 teams, we could just, or 6 teams, we could find a way to make that work. Instead of having 20 teams of people who suddenly drop out, and
more committed people will sign up.
Definitely. Sorry to bring up GB Cup again, guys. I know, I know the audience is probably tired of hearing about Overwatch and GB Cup, but
I mean,
I was just curious.
next GB
myself.
Cup, I just hope Typhoon can reunite for like a show match beforehand or something, because it's clear that we're not going to be able to reunite to play the goddamn cup now. So
Oh, well, we could only dream, JeTz. We'll
we
see.
can only dream. Oh, that was so good. Shout out
Alright.
to Vixel in the chat right now. Hi,
Vixel.
Vixel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hello,
she's there.
Vixel. Thank you. Thanks.
I will
for
also say my closing point
Mhm.
would be too that the Discord's grown a lot since the GB Cup.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
of course.
Like
Oh, yeah.
even just the elders, we've had so many new elders signing up, which I mean, and obviously Jeeb was super grateful, but like you guys, that's indirectly helping me as well. So like I'm super grateful for all the elders that sign up. Because like it is well not like
wrong.
you don't think about it, you're supporting GB and GB,
Yeah.
GB is supporting me, so like it's a trickle down, right?
Yeah.
course.
Trickle down support, it's a new term.
Yep. Coin.
So yeah, like I'm super grateful for that, and when you sub on Twitch, like I'm super grateful for that, and obviously like the Twitch has blown up a lot since GB Cup, and hopefully it will continue to, as like you guys are well aware, in June she plans to go like super full time.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, like the next GB Cup, I talk about small numbers, but it may very well be 20 teams because we have so many elders and seniors.
Yeah.
That would scare me, honestly.
A lot more teams. I think it'd be fun. Then there, you know,
I
we have
think
a
it would be
possibility
fun,
for like
but-
multiple bracket, like a losers bracket, and then
Okay.
it depends on how many days we want the games to go on. Like,
Yeah.
Which is a very fine balance to strike as
right,
well.
Yeah, it's because normally like we were thinking about doing multiple weekends, and then it got trimmed down to one weekend, which is probably for the best in terms of like scheduling for everybody.
Yeah.
It's
I-
a process, I'm sure.
I pushed for that really hard. Once we knew for sure it was 6 teams, I'm like, we should just knock this out as fast as possible so that
Mhm.
people we don't, because we were losing people so fast. I'm like, we can't, like it has to happen
ship is
quickly so
sinking.
we can. Yeah, I mean, we almost didn't have you, and you were a captain. Like you barely got back
it was
minutes
close.
before your game.
That was close.
That
Zephyr
was so
missed
funny.
his first game because he couldn't get back in time. Like
Yeah, it was.
it's very hard, and we had the same thing with the Dota one, the recreational, and something that I tried to convey to GB, but we wanted to do it, or at least try it this way. In the recreational, we let everyone just play at their own pace over the course of a couple weeks, and then we just kept a log ourselves of what happened.
Yeah.
And then we had the tournament was a set time, so it was like group stages sort of
That's interesting.
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we might, like, if we have too many teams for the next GB Cup, we might have to do that anyways, just so that
Do like a top 4 or top
you-
8 or something.
yeah, you guys play, we'll tally it up, and then the top 4 or top 8 teams will be the ones we actually cast, we actually spectate.
Mm-hmm.
That makes a lot of
Yeah,
sense. I like
if
that.
we have enough teams. Oh boy.
All right.
I could talk about this
Speaking of
forever.
video games, speaking of video games, what's your favorite video game, Vest?
It's
I would imagine
that's
Final
very
Fantasy.
easy.
Obviously Overwatch.
It's obviously Overwatch. I love it. You know what? I'll set the record straight. Like I don't hate Overwatch, and I said this to Ray because I pointed out like I wouldn't complain about Overwatch so much if I didn't want it to be better.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I complain about the games I want to be. I want to like Overwatch, but every time I play, like I'm cursed. Every time I play, not every time, 75% of the time I play, like it's a negative experience for me. Like we just get stomped, or there's people that are smurfing, or not so much these days, but like when the game first launched, like hackers were a bigger issue.
Mhm.
It's just. Thank you, Dusty. It's like, so you complain, like it's the same as like when you play an MMO, right? Like all the people that hate on WoW or whatever, like they hate on it because they want to see it get better. They want the best WoW they can possibly get.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I definitely, like, I don't hate Overwatch. I just, it's something like I wish they would change it so that I personally could enjoy it more. And what I personally would enjoy more is not necessarily what others would, because I've said before, like I hate the idea of ultimates. I don't mind the abilities on the 5 to 10 second cooldown. I don't like the ultimates. I think that's a poor way to pace the game. But anyways, that's a tangent. My favorite games, there's 3, and it's very easy. Final Fantasy 4 was I've always been like kind of a gamer. I played games even as a kid. Like I would go outside during the day, then come in and play games. But I wouldn't consider myself a gamer. I just played games for fun on the side. But when we moved to the country, one of the first games, like I mean country, whereas in like 30 minutes to find other people.
Damn.
One of the first games I ever sat down to play that got me invested was Final Fantasy IV, and it's like I love that game. I adore it. I've played it dozens of times. It's my profile picture, or it was my profile picture for years on Twitch, and then I changed it to what it is now. And I think it still is on Steam. It's of Kane the Dragoon, one of the primary characters of the game. So Final Fantasy IV definitely is. I don't necessarily think the best game, or probably not even the best Final Fantasy. You could argue 6 or 7.
It's your favorite one, though.
It's my favorite one. Like it showed me that games could be more than just like, what I had been playing, like Super Mario or just these platformers with nothing to them. Like it had a story, it had characters, it had Kane, who I really connected with because like I could see bits of me in him. That's why I like him so much.
Right.
Then the other two are Super Mario 64, because it's just like a groundbreaking game.
It's a masterpiece.
And then Ocarina of Time / Majora's Mask. Like I have to lump them together because it's one of those things where I recognize Ocarina of Time for what it did for gaming. I think and I've talked to people about this, or talked with people about this before. Like without Ocarina of Time, without Super Mario, gaming would be very different today. They were groundbreaking, like stepping stones to what gaming would become when 3D was still trying to figure out what 3D was. So I appreciate Ocarina of Time for that, for what it did for gaming, but I prefer Majora's Mask because it's like the dark, twisted version of a Zelda game.
I agree with that. I loved Ocarina of Time for sure, and I agree with a lot of people how great it is, but I just like the masks and stuff in Majora's Mask, and like you said, how dark it is. And
I mean, it's really like when you play it now, like knowing you, Gryphon, you never will, because you can't even finish any game.
True.
Like if you go back, called out on stream. If you go back and play Majora's Mask now, like I streamed it here a couple years ago, like it is so messed up, the stuff you are doing in that game. And then like if you add in, like there's a very popular fan theory that like all of that game is happening because Link's dead. Like this is his this is him going into the afterlife and dealing with death. And like even though that might not be true, if you play it under that assumption, like it is so just like crazy what you're doing. Like the game opens up and one of the first things you see is a dead kid in the form of a tree. Like it's so messed up.
I'll have to go back and replay it with that on my mind then. I'll
Yeah, if you look up the fan theory that Link is dead during Majora's Mask, it's really interesting. I love that kind of stuff. To kind of bring it back like to the writing stuff, that is my favorite form of writing is speculation and fan theories, like what MatPat does. Like I love that. I eat that stuff up. Vadi for Dark Souls, Vadi Vidya. I chew that stuff up and just like, oh, I love it. And I've done it for IGN. I love it so much. Like I convinced them to let me do it. So
yeah, I watched some of I don't know how to say his name. MatPat?
MatPat, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I really like some of his game theory videos. Like I watched some of them on the Five Nights at Freddy's. I thought those were very interesting, and I was like, oh yeah.
Is Majora's
I like that kind of stuff too as well.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Is Majora's Mask like your favorite I don't want to say it's conspiracy, but like
fan theory?
Yeah, fan theory.
Yeah.
I think it's my favorite just because it seems the most plausible.
Okay.
Because so much of that game lends to the idea that there is something wrong with Link. And if you look at a lot of the theories, what they really like connect on is that the masks that you're getting all come from a different stage of like acceptance. And I don't know them all off the top of my head, but like the Deku mask is like grief, and the Goron mask is anger, and the Zora mask is I don't remember them all, but like they're all they all come from these different emotions. And then you have like if you go around town, you're helping people do quests like normal, but none of them are are like a quest in like a normal game where that person's going to just give you an item and they carry on their merry way. Like you are helping people resolve the last thing they're ever going to do in their life. And then because the whole game is everyone's going to die. Like everyone accepts they're going to die. And you're trying to like, you're basically making peace for everyone before they die.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just like a lot of those quests kind of tie back into Link as well. Like how that would affect him. Like, is he making peace with himself?
Mm-hmm.
It's so and it's so strange, right? Like all the other Zeldas fall into a pseudo timeline, and then Majora's Mask is like it takes place in a different world. It's got completely different like a main villain. Like it's not Ganon. It's no one you've ever seen before.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like strange things that happen in the game. Like you're playing as young Link on a new adventure, but he has memories that he shouldn't have if he's young Link, and
Mm-hmm.
things happen that shouldn't happen if this is like a new area. And like, why would, for instance, like in Ocarina of Time, I'm going real deep down this hole. You started something.
I'm ready. I'm intrigued.
But like, if you're in a new universe or a new world or whatever, you know, why do things appear that should only have appeared in Hyrule, sort of thing,
Mhm.
right?
Mm.
And the biggest example of that is you have the Ocarina of Time, and there's blocks of in Ocarina of Time, you go around pretty frequently. You play the Song of Time, and these blocks would disappear because it recognizes that song. There's no reason for those to exist in Termina, and yet you still find them. Like Termina is supposed to be disconnected from Hyrule, yet they're still there. And that's what, like, there's all these things from Hyrule that have made their way into Termina that have no reason to exist there unless Link's subconscious is putting them there for him to find. Same as like there's songs that Link comes across that have like the Song of Storms is it the Song of Storms or the Sun song? I can't remember, but it's in Majora's Mask, and it has a slightly different reason for existing in Majora's Mask than in Hyrule, but like it already existed in Hyrule, so why would it exist here and have a different origin story if these lands, you know, were connected in some way or are not connected in some way? But then if you come at this from the idea that this is all in Link's head, then of course, like this is here. Like Link's filling in the blocks with things he remembers from Hyrule, and he's getting to the same destination, but he's taking a different route to get there. I'm probably not explaining it very well, but like it's if you played the game and if you play it while thinking of this fan theory, you start to really appreciate like all these little things, and it's like maybe it's true.
Like, oh, maybe this is going on because he is.
Yeah, exactly.
I get you. You had a different perspective on how you play the game and all that.
Mm-hmm. Mass Effect's another big one. I'm sure a lot of you guys remember like the Mass Effect thing where Shepard actually dies. I don't know if it's in 3 or 1.
Where does he die?
I can't remember. There's a fan theory that Shepard at one point died, and the remaining bits of Mass Effect are all just an indoctrination effect that are happening on him.
I believe that happened in 2, if you're talking about the indoctrination theory.
Maybe I'm not as connected with that one, so.
But yeah, there's sorry.
No worries.
Noises in the background. But yeah, I like fan theories as well, and I think they're very interesting. And like Vest said, I like the way that it makes you look at the game differently and appreciate it in different ways. For sure. So what's your guys' favorite game then, Ray?
Favorite game? Oh boy.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure. I kind of drift around quite a bit.
Do you have like a top like 3, top 5?
Top
that's
5?
harder, to be honest with me.
I don't know about games, but I could probably.
Is there any games out in particular that you would like to mention?
I'd like to mention like the Staccato as like a franchise, because I've played it so much back in middle school. It's just the sheer amount of time I've poured into it. Like I can't say it's a bad game necessarily or a franchise, but Yeah, it's definitely one. Like even now, like even with the new release, like I'll probably still end up buying it just because of what it is, especially with the
new one looks kind of good.
Yeah, the new battle royale game. We can kind of go into that too, I guess. But one of the reasons why I'm kind of excited for Call of Duty Battle Royale is because it's a AAA company finally doing a battle royale, and I'm kind of interested to see how they're gonna step it up from the, I wouldn't say like indie companies, but like the smaller companies going about doing battle royale modes. So I'm kind of interested in seeing how they approach it and what direction they take it in.
Yeah.
And then I also just enjoy COD, like a first person shooter. It's nothing really, can't really go wrong with that. And then zombies, of course, is always a great time.
Love the zombies.
Yeah.
Would you
very
consider
excited.
Epic Games indie though? I wouldn't.
Well, no,
Not
I'm
after Gears of War.
it
To
wasn't
be
like
fair, though, it's not Epic proper. That is a frequent mistake.
Completely different.
It's a
Okay.
different team.
Mhm.
yeah, they didn't
Fair
have like a Fortnite team. Like it was like, hey, let's try this out, and then they just started pulling people from other projects and like here.
Well, yeah, because it was all what is it? Not Kickstarter, early access type stuff at first. I don't think they were.
Originally, yeah.
Yeah, they weren't trying to like, oh yeah, we're gonna make Fortnite. Here it is.
It's
It's kind of
definitely
like always a work in progress type thing.
they definitely had a different goal when they originally made that game, and they kind of veered off as it as the success came.
Yeah, people often, not to tangent this much, but people often forget Fortnite was actually shown off like 7 years ago or 6 years ago.
Oh,
Like,
I went to the Comic-Con panel. For
Yeah.
did you? Yeah, like it's been cooking for a long time. The fact that they did a complete 180 into BR stuff, I mean, it actually is pretty crazy. I'd
It
be
is.
very curious to see like the behind the scenes of what happened in that company where they're like, we need to switch focus.
It was. I was very interested when I first saw it actually, and I was like, yeah, this looks like a game I would love to play. Like it's like a Minecraft type thing, except tower defense.
Mhm.
And I was like, that sounds very interesting. And then I never heard about it for like so many years, and then they come out with this battle royale thing. I'm like, okay, that's where that went. And I was kind of mad about it because I played the what's it called, the actual
Save
like,
the world, they call it.
Save the world thing. And I'm like, man, this is not as good as the battle royale mode, and it's kind of sad to me that
They kind of
because
dropped
I was
it.
looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And like Vest said, it's been like 6 years or something.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know
been a
how long
while.
it's been.
It's been cooking for a long time because
Yeah.
they a part of the reason it was originally shown was as a tech demo for Unreal 4, 3, I think 4.
Yeah, I think it's 4.
Mhm. Yeah.
To further Griffin's question, like maybe not your favorite, like do you have one like me that was most influential? Was
Yeah.
that Call of Duty?
COD was probably
I
the
say in
most,
terms of my competitive aspect to games, yeah, like that's the game I like, grinded hard. I was super competitive about it. But let's see, in terms of story, and like kind of like how you were saying, kind of like shows you that games have a story, and that it can be more than just shooting people in COD or
Mhm.
whatever. I'd say there might have been one before this, but one that definitely drove it home for me was Dragon Age Origins. That was
It's a good one.
was a very
Oh,
great game
Dragon
for
Age,
me.
yeah.
Specifically Origins though, not the
Yeah,
series.
like
just
the Dragon Age Origins
Yeah.
was great, and I still find myself going back to it every now and again. Skipping
Love
the
that
freaking
game.
Dream Zone though, that's awful.
Yeah,
That was like
yeah.
that was like my only
I know all about that.
negative for that game, but yeah, probably Dragon Age Origins, at least off the top of my head. If not like the first, definitely one of the biggest. I think my cousin recommended it to me a while ago because I was always a fan of like RPGs. I played like RuneScape and MapleStory back in the day, and he's like, you should try this, and I was like, oh well, I'll give it a shot, and turned out pretty good, and I really enjoyed it. Not so much the sequels. Inquisition wasn't too bad in my opinion, but it definitely beat freaking Hawk. I forgot the name of the actual game. I think it's just called Dragon Age 2, but
Yeah, it's literally
It was just two.
Two.
Yeah.
definitely enjoyed it more than that. But yeah, Dragon Age Origins is always a classic. And then I just wanted to bring up Niteka's comment, the zombies theory for Call of Duty, like the whole like interconnected like theory and stuff. I find that interesting as well. Like with all the
Didn't they kind of
Easter eggs.
What do you mean theory?
yeah, they kind of pushed that into like the main story of it though.
I was
Yeah.
about to say, yeah, that's not a theory, right?
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
like the first zombies, like the first few zombie maps, it was all kind of just like Easter egg stuff, and you
But
kind
yeah,
of just kind of But as
they interwove that into the actual story,
Yeah.
which is crazy to me. Like the Nocturne Toten and stuff like that. They're like, oh
Mhm.
yeah, they were here for this and this. I'm like, that's interesting.
well,
I don't know the actual story,
yeah,
but yeah,
this is
they
just a
did.
long, extensive list. I remember when Black Ops 3 dropped, I found myself watching like a bunch of like zombie theory videos. It's because I don't know. I like when, like you were saying, games kind of just like toss some breadcrumbs out there, and you're just like, kind of go piece this for yourself, and it's interesting, and makes you think.
Yeah.
It's definitely something I enjoy.
So Dragon Age Origins and Call of Duty.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Call of Duty more for the multiplayer aspect and like competitive gaming and whatnot, like MLG
sure,
stuff, and got a big following into the COD Pro scene.
You
Fair enough.
were a pro COD player.
I wish I was a pro COD player. Highlight of my COD career is making Scumpy rage at me on stream.
I don't even know who that is.
Don't worry about it.
I'm assuming he's a very good COD player.
Yeah, he played for I think he still does play for Optic, but yeah, he was streaming and it
Right.
killed
You
him.
wanna look up Optic Stumpy.
And you made him rage.
Made him rage.
So
That's
so
just
then
typical Ray right there.
Yep.
Me, I've said it a lot. My favorite video game of all time is Uncharted 2.
Mm-hmm.
I love, as I said before, I love Naughty Dog. Crash Bandicoot, all that. I played Uncharted 2. Like, it was one of the reasons why I wanted a PlayStation, because I was an Xbox fanboy. But Uncharted came out, and I was like, okay, that looks interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't touch it until Uncharted 2, because I saw the trailers and I was like, holy crap, this is insane. I need to try this out. And I couldn't put the game down. I think to this day, it is the only game on PlayStation that I ever got a platinum trophy on.
Mm-hmm.
Purely because I just constantly replayed the game, the multiplayer on it as well. Like, it was, they put the story first, and then the multiplayer was just a thing that was, oh yeah, you've completed everything here, just do something. But the multiplayer worked perfectly. And then they just kind of worked on it more and more when the series eventually went further. The story in Uncharted 2, the characters, Nathan Drake, Nolan North is one of my favorite voice actors. Like,
Oh, he's great.
Mm-hmm.
Just ripped off him from COD Zombies.
Yeah. Like Drake as a character, he's, it's clear that he's inspired by Lara Croft and Indiana Jones, but I personally love those two characters anyway. So I just love Nathan Drake as a character, and I love the franchise. Going on about influential, I would probably say Halo.
Oh yeah, Halo as well.
And Counter-Strike. I played a lot of Counter-Strike Source. More than I would care to admit, to be honest. However, COD as well, like, when I was on the PC, Counter-Strike was what I played. When I was on console, it was either Halo or COD.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to this day, if I play COD on PC, I actually prefer playing with a controller, because it just feels right to me,
I definitely get you. Yeah.
I think, and that's a testament to how well COD is made
Yeah.
mechanically.
Yeah.
A lot of people are quick to dumpster on Call of Duty, sometimes warranted, but the mechanics, the way you interact with the game, like a Call of Duty does it leaps and bounds better than almost everyone else.
Yeah, for sure. They actually kind of made that as a selling point for like their battle royale game. They're like, hell yeah, with the best mechanics and stuff like that. I do agree that COD is very feels very responsive. Whatever you do in the game, you
Yes.
feel like the
Yes.
controller vibrate, and like the noises and just everything goes together so well that makes you feel like you're doing what your character's doing. Well, not it's not VR, but
Yeah.
you feel like you're doing something when you press a button.
You have that impact when you press it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do it, but it's just the responsiveness, the sound, and all that stuff.
Diablo.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's what makes me interested in the new Battle Royale that they're doing. because compared to PUBG and Fortnite, Call of Duty runs off of hit scan.
Yeah.
So
Stuff, yeah, for sure.
will they be still going with the whole COD hit scan approach, or will they actually change it purely for the
I feel
battle
like they
royale?
would change it.
I feel like
for
they
the
might
battle
have
royale
to,
part.
because to be
Yeah.
just be
Yeah.
lasering people from across the map is like
Yeah, I
different.
don't
Is
know.
like I don't know. Unless they want to keep it
Yeah.
like I said, I don't know. They can go any direction they want with it because they can. It's like maybe
Yeah,
they'll
it's
just still
crops.
do like really small maps. Like Fortnite does like 20-minute game. PUBG does like the 30-minute game. What if COD does like a 5 to 10-minute like really fast-paced, high-action game like battle royale mode? Who
Yeah,
knows?
like it'll be interesting if they change it. I would certainly be interested in seeing how it plays.
Mhm,
Um, there's also a game from my childhood that I really want to bring up. I'm not sure if anyone's played it. I actually had to Google the name right now. I was like, I remember bits of it, and I was like, I think I know the name. Medieval
Yeah, I played Medieval.
on PlayStation.
Yep.
Yeah.
I loved that game.
Let me look it up.
Absolutely loved it.
Aren't they remastering it?
Are
I swear
they?
they are.
I'm going
I
to
swear
have
they
to.
are. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm going to have to get it.
Medieval.
Like
Yeah. Skull guy.
I love that game. Like
I only
that's
played the
definitely a
demo
top
of
3
that
for
game.
me. That's definitely a top 3 for me. So
So those are your top 3 favorite games?
Uncharted 2, Medieval. I'm undecided on the other third.
CS or COD, just competitive
I
shooters.
certainly, yeah, for influencing me, definitely in my top 3 favorite. Hell no.
Sure.
Yeah.
Even Overwatch, I have a love-hate relationship with Overwatch.
Mm.
Like I was meant to be quitting Overwatch, and then Glow was like, "Oh yeah, help me with promos," and I was like, "Fine." And then today I finally reached Diamond, so currently I'm in
Nice.
love with the game.
Good job.
So tomorrow I'll probably hate it. So
It'll all come crashing down someday.
yeah.
That's how Overwatch is.
It'll-
What about you, Gryphon?
My favorite. Oh, so growing up, I would play a lot of. Did play Zelda. I played a bunch of stuff, all the good stuff that my brother would. Because I had an older brother who's 8 years older than me, and all the games that he bought, I kind of like ended up playing just because, I'm not gonna get my own games for myself. What is? There's this game called Chrono Cross. It's a very old.
Yep.
Oh, I
The
remember.
spiritual successor to Chrono Trigger.
Chrono Trigger, yes. I've never played Chrono Trigger though. I played Chrono Cross
Oh,
on the
you
PlayStation
heathen.
1. Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I'm kind of like, oh yeah, Chrono Cross. People like, you should play Chrono Trigger. I'm like, I played Chrono Cross and I beat that game maybe 8 times. And when you beat it, they actually give you like a fast forward like switch on it, so you don't have to like sit through all the cutscenes and stuff, go through the battles really fast. But that was one of my first experiences with like beating a JRPG and actually like leveling up a party and having all these different characters. That's like my first like Final Fantasy kind of experience. Definitely is not like Final Fantasy. I mean, sort of in like the turn-based combat and stuff, but
It's a JRPG. So,
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's just the story and the characters and the combat was really good in my opinion. Even like I would have never thought at that age I'd be interested in a game like that, but I was like, I don't know how old I was, maybe like 8 or 9.
But did you finish it?
I did. Like I said, I beat it 8 times.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I'm
But
thinking
yeah,
of so
I
many
did.
other things right now, like other games that I've played, like Age of Empires, like all the RTS games I used to play.
Is Chrono Cross the influential one as well for you, or is it just like one of your earlier ones?
It is. I say it would influence my love for like JRPGs and stuff like that, and like getting interested in the whole genre of JRPGs. But I guess also I won't say this game is influential, but it's very important to me. Is Kingdom Hearts. Is when it came out for PS2, I had no idea. Like, I just went into GameStop and just saw what was like the latest game that came out, and I was like, hey, I like Disney. I also like Final Fantasy games, so let's check out this game. It's kind of an interesting concept. If you think about it now, you're like, what the hell were they thinking? And then, but then I played it, and I was like, damn, this is the right amount of like campiness and like Japanese like anime type shit, where it's like you're like, I don't know how to describe it. Like
That's
it's
probably
so,
what they said at the board meeting. It's like, we need to mix Disney with some Japanese anime type shit.
yeah, it's
Boom,
like
Kingdom Hearts.
all the all the like cheesy stuff that happens in anime and like the cheesy stuff that happens in like Disney movies. It's like all in that game, and it was perfect for me as that kid. I was like maybe 12 or 13 when I played Kingdom Hearts 1, and it was love that game.
I mean, it's an amazing game.
Yeah. Still waiting for 3 though. It's supposed
Soon.
to come out this year.
Supposed to.
They
Fingers crossed.
to jump in real quick. I know time's getting shorter and shorter, but to piggyback on the favorite game, I mean, you guys all know, and everyone watching probably knows that I often get the old man joke. I even refer to myself as old quite a bit as well. Anyways, 'cause I am on the older side for what I would say the average age is on the Discord. But what was your guys' first console?
First console to own or first console to play?
Oh,
The first console you can distinctly remember playing as like
my
you come home and you
God.
play it.
Probably say Game Boy.
I was about to say
You had a
that
Game
as
Boy?
well.
Yeah, just like a regular Game Boy.
If you tell me which one I remember, it was
Because
the
I
Game
played
Boy.
Pokemon.
See, I wasn't really a Game Boy fan. That was my older brother. He was obsessed with Pokemon and stuff like that. I'm not too big on Pokemon.
That's fair.
I would say the oldest one I would have to say, because my dad tells me the story all the time. Sega Saturn.
Saturn? Okay.
Yeah, purely
But do you remember
because
playing it though?
well, yeah, because of my dad's story. One time, one Christmas, we were unwrapping presents and everything, and I said, "Oh, I just need to go to the toilet." So I went upstairs, and all they heard was me switching on the Sega Saturn. I had got bored of opening presents, and I just wanted to sit there and play on the Sega Saturn. And my dad, every Christmas, reminds me of this story.
That's
So,
funny.
yeah, I'd
Seriously.
have to go with the Sega Saturn.
Okay.
What was yours then, Vest? I don't even know if I'll know.
Mine,
Pog.
the first one I can remember was a lot of you might not even know. It's the Commodore.
Yep.
Commodore.
Yeah, it's the very first game I can in my old man memory, Commodore 64 specifically, was playing that. We had I believe it was Pitfall and Breakout. But the first console that most people would be familiar with is the Genesis or the Mega Drive for the Europeans. That was, we had, or not even we, my brother, I have a much older brother, and he had a Genesis. He had Sonic 1. That was the first game. That's why I have an attachment to Sonic, even though not maybe the best franchise, is because I can remember being like 3 and 4 years old, playing Sonic over and over, and never once getting past Green Hill Zone. Not once did I get past that Green Hill Zone. But yeah.
I think in my house we were like more of a Nintendo thing. Like my brother would always want whatever Nintendo console that came out, and just like, I don't know, the 64 is something that we played a lot of, definitely as kids. We played a lot of GoldenEye.
Yep, 64.
And
GoldenEye,
yeah, GoldenEye and Perfect Dark. We would play that a lot.
Oh, I completely forgot about Perfect Dark.
My real life friends legitimately wouldn't play me in GoldenEye because I just kept winning. So fun fact: if you're ever playing GoldenEye and you're having a hard time, just get the Destavel, the DD4 Destavel. It's the gray pistol. It's the most powerful pistol by a mile, and you can fire guns in that game pretty much as fast as you can pull the Z button, the trigger. And the Destavel does so much damage that you can just blast through any other gun, and that's how I would always win. Like it wasn't like I was like doing something crazy or I'm particularly skilled at the game. I just recognize that the Distalvel was that good. Like it was the Halo 1 pistol of GoldenEye.
Damn.
So I just
snipe fools.
you just Distalvel people to death.
I just I don't know. I know they remade GoldenEye a couple of times already. Well, not a couple of times. I know they officially remade it once with like the Daniel Craig. Daniel Craig
They've
was-
never done, I think, an accurate remake though. It was always
Yeah.
kind of like this is our new a remake is a good way to put it because it is a new
Yeah.
take on GoldenEye.
Mhm.
Where I think that's one of the few games where people would rather just have a remaster. Like they just
Mhm.
want to play it as they remember. But
For sure.
Activision and whoever else owns the rights to it have kind of muddied it up too much at this point.
Be Rare, Nintendo, and well, Activision definitely owns the rights to James Bond now. I'm pretty sure.
The Perfect Dark remake though,
hmm
very okay hand. Excellent game.
Didn't they remake that for, was it Xbox 360 or
They
was
did. It was an arcade release originally. It's also in the Rare collection now.
Oh, that's
Highly
because of the
recommend.
collection.
Highly recommend. Perfect Dark and GoldenEye were influential to first-person shooters on the consoles, so
For sure.
very, very
Love
much
those
recommend
games.
that.
Well, I don't think I have a third favorite game. Well, okay, I'd say influential to me would be Gears of War.
Gears of War was a big one for me too.
Gears of War for the 360, because that's what got me into like online shooters in general. It's not first person at all. Chainsawing people, stuff like that. But it got me into like just like chatting with people online and talking on Xbox Live, getting like the actual Xbox Live experience. Like people would play Halo 2 and stuff like that, but I would always be playing with my friends. I would never be on headset because my brother would be on the headset all the time.
Mhm.
But then like Gears of War is where I felt like, I guess, comfortable enough to play by myself and like talk to other people.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I think that came before COD for me in terms of like playing,
Yeah,
like, getting into
me too.
shooters. And then
Definitely
it was
Gears of
Halo,
War.
I think, and then COD. But
Really?
but Halo
I
was
played-
like, I mean, I went hard in Halo still for like ranked play and stuff. But I don't know. COD was like where it was like, time to go in.
I never played COD until Modern Warfare 2.
Played COD
And-
3. That's when I started.
Really interesting.
It's because, well, at the time of Modern Warfare 2, everybody was playing COD. I mean, people
Yeah.
were gushing about it in COD 4
Mhm.
and World at War. But then I was like, you know what? I'm going to play a little bit. And that's when I sunk so many hours into it. I actually played so much that one of my fingers on my hand, like, I could not feel for about 2 weeks because I was like gripping the controller.
I don't
So
think that's
hard.
normal.
Yeah, it's definitely not. I could not feel the finger at all, but then it's good now.
I'm
And-
glad.
Yeah. I remember getting like my first nuke and all that. It was on the sub base now, whatever that.
I still
that is
remember
called.
my first nuke. Brings a tear to my eye.
First
It was on airport
terminal.
terminal. Thank you. Sure.
Yeah.
The one with the airplane.
Yep.
I can remember getting it like 20. It's because you needed 25 kills, right?
Yeah.
And I got to
Yeah.
like 23 or something, and I went and hid behind like the check-in desk, and I was camping so hard for those last two.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't care. I am becoming what I hate, so I can get this.
Toast the
nuke.
marshmallows. Get the s'mores ready.
Yeah.
I was too. I was like sweating. Okay, I remember it too because my brother was sleeping in the same room, and I had the TV turned down really low, so I couldn't hear much. It's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on.
I think we have a unique crowd here outside of Ray, who never seems to get angry, but me. And I know certainly JeTz, Gryphon, and we could probably guess where this is going. But what's the first game that made you guys like rage? Like what really got you going for the first time?
God, oh my god.
And Ray, you could chime in, but you always seem so. You're the least ragey of us. So
Trying to think.
what has made you kind of a little upset one time?
I gotta think.
I can start it off because I know mine, and mine is the silliest thing. Outside of just kind of like competitive anger among my friends, like playing Halo or something, The first, or GoldenEye back then, the first game I can legitimately remember, and this is one of the only times I've ever thrown the controller, and everyone's gonna like fucking die, was Pokemon Stadium.
Pokemon Stadium was fantastic.
It was Pokemon Stadium because in Pokemon Stadium, if you don't know, when the gameplay hook of that is you do the stadium, which is basically like doing gyms over and over. Like you fight a bunch of trainers.
Yeah.
And at the time, I didn't have a Pokemon game, so I had to use the rental Pokemon that came with Stadium. So there's just these default sets of Pokemon that the game gives to you to do the battles. So one of the final fights in Pokemon Stadium is against an Alakazam. And for whatever reason, in Generation 1, Alakazam is very well known to have basically a broken special attack. Like his special attack stat is so high that he even beats Mewtwo, who's supposed to be the strongest. And so this final fight against Alakazam, no matter what I did, the Alakazam would always go first, and it would use Psybeam and one-shot everything.
Psybeam. Yep.
And I spent like days trying to get past this Alakazam because he would just Psybeam. I couldn't win. And I remember my mom yelled at me because it was the first time, like, I remember like cracking the controller because I was gripping it so hard. Like the plastic's just like, crunching under me. And I just like, this is stupid. And I threw the controller all the way across the room.
I honestly don't remember my first game. I know games did like piss me off because it was like I felt that it was unfair, but I was just bad, honestly, because I'm a little kid playing this game. But I don't know my first one. I don't think I played a lot of Diddy Kong Racing on the Nintendo 64. I forgot the last guy's name. Something Hog or Hog something.
Roadhog.
Yeah, Roadhog. Whatever his name is.
You mean like the big boss man?
Yeah, I forgot his name.
It's a big pig guy. Yeah.
Yeah, Whiz Pig. There we go. I would race Whiz Pig, and he would always win. Like at the stupidest things, like you get ahead of him, and then like at the last second, he just like zoom past, and you're like, "How's that fair? How's that even possible?"
Gotta love rubber band mechanics and races.
Yeah, and I don't know. At the time, I was like, "Well, this is stupid." I don't think I've ever like. I probably have thrown a controller a couple of times, but
that was the only time for me. Now that I'm like I was definitely known for being very ragey. Like my friends have known me for years. Like I definitely have got the reputation. You guys just don't see it as much anymore because as I've gotten older, I've been able to keep it down. And now, like GB has pointed out several times, like you guys can tell when I'm angry now because I just stop talking and I grumble a lot, like, and then I just leave because I know like a lot of you guys, and props to you for trying to push through it or whatever. Like I don't like once I hit that point, like once I am tilted, I'm out. Like I'm not gonna play.
That's fair.
I swear that's becoming more and more me in Overwatch. I'm just like not talking. I'm just like, you know what, guys, peace out, bye.
Yeah,
that's fair though. I mean, you gotta use guys.
So what was your guys'?
There was a game that I did like. I think I threw my controller. I was playing Bloodborne. I was fighting that spider boss, whatever, Rom, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Literally 6 hours of me just straight
6 hours.
restart. Like, no, I need to beat this motherfucker.
So I can, to jump in, an interesting story though. I think you guys will like this.
Yeah.
So when I first started IGN, one of the first games I actually did was Dark Souls.
Oh, God.
It wasn't the proper game though. I did the DLC. And like I was a big Dark Souls person. I got hooked on Demon Souls, played Dark Souls, all yada. So the DLC for number 1 comes out, and I tell IGN, it's like, hey, like if you need someone, like I'm the man. I fucking love this game. I got the project, and for those that have not played the DLC for Dark Souls 1, there is an optional boss, Calamite the Dragon, and he is at the time like you gotta. So I'm playing this early, so like there's no strategies, there's nothing. I'm the one who's supposed to be coming up with the strategy, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going into this fight, and there was a lot of stuff stacked against me. So I went into this. This was the like third game or second game I covered for IGN. So I had like all this like internal pressure that I had put on myself. Like I knew Dark Souls was big. I have to nail this. I have to get this right. I have to get this video captured and put out and yada yada yada, because like this is IGN and this is Dark Souls. So right off the bat, I already had one problem. I didn't have a character to do the DLC with. So I had to use a New Game Plus character. So already I'm going into the DLC. It's way harder than it should be because I'm using an underleveled New Game Plus character that I basically ran through the game. I speed run to the point that I could get into the DLC.
Ouch.
So that already, like the DLC is supposed to be done around soul level 80 plus. I was coming in at this at like soul level 30. So I'm just getting stomped. And like, I was getting so, like, I wasn't even raging. I was literally getting depressed. Like it was messing me up. So I finally, like, I limped through the first fight, which is against, what do they call it? Chimera. I got to Artorias. I had to summon help in for him, which was like, that's a huge no-no, obviously, because I'm supposed to be coming up with the guide. I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I cannot beat Artorias right now at soul level 30. And I was a dex build, so I'm using goddamn scimitar. I'm like, I can't do this right now. So I summoned in help and beat Artorias that way. I got to the final boss, and just through like hours of hating life, I finally beat him by myself because I was like, I can't summon help on the final boss. But then it came to Calamite.
Oh no!
And I could not beat Calamite, and like I'm getting like not pressured, but like they're messaging me. It's like, we don't have anything on this Calamite. Like, what is this Calamite? Like, you know, my boss. Like, can we get something up for Calamite? I'm like, I am trying so hard. I spent 3 days trying to beat Calamite. I probably did the fight some 200 times. I couldn't beat it, and I was so angry that it eventually like peaked, and I was beyond angry. Like it was like a Dragon Ball moment. I went beyond rage, and it's the only game to bring me to tears because I thought I couldn't do it. I was dreading having to email IGN saying, I can't do this because this is my job. I am supposed to be able to do this, and I can't. I was so upset, and finally, like it was like on the fourth day, I got the rhythm of the fight, and I was using a cheese weapon. For those that don't know, there's crystal weapons in Dark Souls 1. They have almost no durability, so you can only use them for 1 or 2 fights, but the damage is insane. So I used a crystal halberd for the fight. The video might still be up somewhere so that I could chew through his health a lot quicker. And I finally got the rhythm just enough to beat it. And you can see, like, I beat him with like 1 Estus flask left. I'm like almost fucking dead. And I remember when I beat him, I just put the controller down. I made sure I recorded it, and I walked away. And I didn't do like anything for the rest of the day because I was just like
exhausted. I could imagine.
Yeah, it was exhausting, and it was all just like built up pressure on myself because I was so scared of being like the newbie freelancer, of emailing my boss and saying like, I can't do this. Like you paid me to do this. I can't. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, that would definitely look bad.
Yeah. So I had all this, and it's like, I don't get emotional. Like, I don't, the same, like watching Life is Strange and stuff, but that brought me to tears because I was,
the emotion from being defeated.
Yeah.
Over 1,000 times.
Because there's a different pressure, right? Like when you're playing it yourself and you're dying and dying and dying, you're like, oh, this game fucking sucks, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. But like, I had to beat this now. Yeah. And I was dying, and I was losing days and days, and it was...
I thought I had it bad in Blood.
Well, so I more Dark Souls stories related to work. I've covered all the Souls games for IGN. Dark Souls 2 has a mechanic where you can increase the bonfire difficulty by burning bonfire ascetics. Mm-hmm. The DLC comes out. I go to do the DLC. I'm already on New Game Plus, but it's not an issue this time because I have the proper character. I go kill the boss of the first DLC. Check my recording. Didn't record. Fucking great. So then I had to do the boss again by kicking the DLC up a level, or kicking the difficulty up a level, but I'm not on that level. So it's like the same situation as the first game. So now I'm trying to beat this boss. It took me like 2 days to beat her because I had to crank up the difficulty to respawn her. That wasn't fun. Dark Souls 3, nothing terrible really happened for that one. Although, fun fact, I had the game early, and that zone, the swamp zone, it was basically Blighttown 2.0 before launch. They patched it afterwards, but before launch, that thing ran at like 5 FPS on my computer. It was no bueno. But Bloodborne is the best example of something going wrong. Is that when Bloodborne first came out, there was a bug because PlayStation had also just released sleep mode for the PlayStation PS4. And there was a bug in Bloodborne where if you went into sleep mode and then came out of it and played Bloodborne, the enemy AI was deactivated. So they basically wouldn't attack, and bosses wouldn't use pretty much any of their special attacks. They would just use standard attacks.
Damn.
We didn't know about this until after I had beat the game and recorded everything. So the day after launch of the game, I get an email saying, Sean, all of our stuff is wrong because of this bug. We need you to beat it again. So I am intimately aware of how to speedrun Bloodborne because I got that email. I'm like, all right, here we go. And I like blew through the game in like 6 hours to get all of it back up again to replace our bad footage. Cause like what are you supposed to do? Right. Like I had to do it. So even to this day, like I haven't played Bloodborne in a while. I could still pick it up and like blow through the game because of that stuff.
Crazy.
Yeah, he told me.
So Dark Souls series is a pretty touchy subject, right, Vest?
Yeah. I still love them though. I'm looking forward to the remaster. But
Ray, did you come up with a game or should I go?
Probably not. It's not like rage, I guess. It's kind of like what Vest was saying. It's kind of like you get depressed. It was Dark Souls 3 because that was like my first real Dark Souls game. And like I'm fighting the boss, like the very first boss in the game, and I'm dying. I'm like, this isn't that hard. Like I shouldn't be having as much trouble as I am against this boss. And I don't know what's wrong with me. And it took me like an hour to beat like the first boss, but it
an hour.
Yeah, like I don't remember. I streamed it. It's probably like an hour or two. To beat the very first boss, I was like, if this is how the rest of the game's gonna go, I don't know. I don't know how this is gonna. I don't know how much I could take. But I guess after beating the first boss, I kind of got the rhythm of the game, and I was able to do like pretty much everything. I think the boss after that gave me the most trouble. I forgot the name of the boss, but it was like the dragon boss, like Dragon Rider guy.
Nameless King.
Nameless King, yes, that was him.
Oh, boss fight. I've got a story about the Nameless King.
Gave me some trouble. And then more recently, I guess God of War. It's more like the same thing. It wasn't really rage. It's more of me like, I could do this, and I'm just not for some reason. Like I don't know what's wrong with me.
God of War is a little different though because we picked.
Yeah, that's
we picked our poison on that one.
Yeah.
And God of War, while I think it's a great game, I would argue not as refined as Dark Souls.
I agree.
Kind of like in fairness of like the combat or something like that.
Yeah, because me and Ray played it on the hardest difficulty, and it's not perfect on that difficulty. There are a few things that are like, this is punishing the player in an unfun way.
Yeah, it's just like 2 hits and you're dead. From what I've seen, it's like,
and Dark Souls, for as much as people will hate on the difficulty, there is a, like Ray said, there's a rhythm to Dark Souls that once it clicks, it like you can just blow through the game like it's nothing. You just got to figure out what that is for how you want to play. But for God of War, there's just something a little off about the combat. There's just a few decisions that are like, these kind of suck. Why'd you have to do this? But anyways, I won't sidetrack anymore because we're go ahead, JeTz.
While Pete's talking about Nameless King, I have a story about that boss. Dark Souls 3 is the only Dark Souls game I've actually completed. Dark Souls 2 I hardly played. Dark Souls 1 I rage quit that game way too many times. But Dark Souls 3 I was adamant because I picked it up, I picked it up, and I was like, you know what, I love how smooth the game feels compared to the other ones. This is the game I'm going to finally complete. And got to the Nameless King, and my friends had been talking about this boss. I looked up online, and I had all these things about this boss being the hardest boss ever, and I was like, okay, this isn't going to be fun. So first attempt obviously didn't go well. My first day on Nameless King, over and over again, couldn't do it. So I was like, okay, you know what? It's like 3 a.m. I'll come back to it tomorrow. So switched it. I think when did I first play it? I think I first played. Yeah, I played it on PC. So just saying, controller by far better than keyboard and mouse.
Oh yeah.
Picked up the controller, went to the Nameless King, and on that day I beat him first go.
Nice.
I was like, okay, what the hell did I do differently than yesterday? But I found out, basically, thinking back, it was all in my head. It was all mental stuff because of reading, oh, you know, this is the toughest boss, and hearing all of this hype about this character. I completely forgot about it when I woke up, and I was just like, I'm just going to beat this boss. So it's completely in my head. But yeah, that's my Nameless King story. But yeah,
Dark Souls will do that to you. That's
yeah.
You watch like once you become familiar with the game and you start watching people play the game, and a lot of you know Lady Locke, my friend, watching her play, and I constantly tell her, and I told GB the same thing. A lot of people when they play Dark Souls, they play it because everyone's told them it's hard, or they know it's hard, or they're dying, and they get very cautious and scared and defensive.
Yeah.
And you can't do that in Dark Souls. Like your instincts tell you to back away, go hide, but like that's not how you're gonna win. And that's probably with JeTz, like when you forgot that and you woke up, like you probably you were aggressive with the boss. You were in his face, I bet you, and that's why you won, because that's how you overcome Dark Souls, is you stay aggressive. Because when you back away, a lot of bosses have attacks where it'd be like, you're gonna back away, good, you're dead. But if you're in their face, they're gonna use normal attacks. They're just gonna poke you with their sword, or they're gonna Yeah,
Dusty, I would certainly recommend picking up Dark Souls 3.
Dusty, you're playing too many games.
Yeah.
But yes, I would also recommend.
As for games that made me, like the first game I raged at, depends on the level of rage. Believe it or not, I was way worse than I am. Like, I've really tried to tone myself down. I think past month or so, like, I made the plat climb video that I uploaded on my YouTube, and just watching some of the footage back of me talking to people, I was a shit, to be honest. Like, like I would hope how I am now, like from what I hear, most of it is to do with my tone, with how I talk. Because if I'm frustrated, you will know I'm frustrated. But it's purely because I just want everyone to do well. Whereas years ago, it was I just hated people. First game that made me rage was a game called Hidden and Dangerous.
I actually don't know that one.
You don't? Oh, my dad loved that game. My dad played it with his friend. I played it with my friend, and basically, it's a World War II game. You have 4 soldiers that you can control, and basically, it was just frustrating. And it was the first time I ever really yelled and screamed while playing a game. Actually being like frustrated to the point of being toxic was definitely League of Legends. That game, yeah, I'm glad no one's really saw me play League of Legends, to be honest. Like, I'm surprised that my friends really put up with that, because I had a tendency where just playing it, like just the smallest things, I would be toxic as hell. Like, thinking back, I would probably slap myself in the face. And I've never thrown a controller or mouse or anything like that. My little brother is the one that does that, seriously. I had to buy my own Xbox controller because he just constantly broke his, and I was like, "You're not touching that one." But yeah, League was probably the closest I've ever been to throwing something. And it was purely because I kind of got into the whole toxic mentality. Because to this day, I would say League is the most toxic game I played, purely because everyone just wants to have a go at someone else. You know, no one learns from their own mistakes, and they don't look at themselves as a player. They look at, oh, it's not my fault, it's that person. But I would say playing League has made me kind of realize, yes, I do get frustrated. But as I said, I get frustrated because I want other people to do well. And like, I want to point out like a mistake. However, I do it completely wrong because I just sound like I'm having a go at them, whereas I kind of just want to try and help. So it's like the tone that I just need to work on right now. But yeah, League and Hidden and Dangerous, by far the games that made me first really be annoyed and toxic, to be honest. Overwatch is still currently the one that I get really annoyed at. So
All of us. I mean,
yeah,
for me now, I don't. Most games don't do too much for me to like really make me get angry or get quiet like I do and then just leave. For me, even when Overwatch, I tend to stick through it. What triggers me mostly in gaming now that like immediately tilts me and makes me not want to play is not something that the game does. It'll be people.
yeah,
Specific, like as soon as I will be hating Overwatch with a passion on a particular night, but I'll still play with you guys because I want to enjoy the company of people. But as soon as someone on the other team says even one thing kind of to poke fun or to troll, it sends the tilt meter to like a whole new dimension, and I immediately don't want to play. Like I just can't deal with it anymore. Same as in Dota. Like there's any game where like there's cross chat stuff like that. Like it's not so much the games anymore. It's the people that trigger me now, and I can't deal with it.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, people are real assholes on the internet.
Yeah.
I don't understand why, like Overwatch, for example, has like a chat that you can speak to the enemy team. Like it should be is have it completely where it's just your team, and then when the game is over, have like a response that you can probably select, like, oh, GG, well played, and stuff like that. Like, I think that would do a lot to help with toxicity, because then you can't be like, oh, so blah 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 blah, because then you can't. There's the whole mind game of trying to tilt the enemy team. You can't with that way. You can't do it over text. You have to do it purely with how you play. Ray has mastered that. Just saying. With his Tracer and Brigitte, like it got to the point where playing against Ray's Brigitte made me not want to play custom games anymore. And I still don't want to play custom games. So thank you, Ray. But yeah, I feel like those kind of games shouldn't have a text channel where you can speak to the other team, because it's just going to be toxicity between each other. Like no one's going to say, "Oh, nice shot," It's just there's no need for it, to be honest. So
yeah, it's tough.
People are toxic.
Yeah, people are toxic.
Most of the time.
I've always heard about
I hate people.
Heard about it from League as well, but like I don't know, on the PC scene, I never played anything like too competitive or anything like that. But then like Overwatch was like the first game where I was like competitive gaming on PC, and maybe it's just the people. It is the people, but like, yeah, I met some real assholes on Overwatch. Like, man, fuck you. Just like, fuck you. I just want to punch you in the face in real life just because you're an asshole.
Yep.
I've never like felt that way on like Xbox. I don't think so at all. I'm like, man, this guy's really good, and it's pissing me off. But I can't hear him like talk shit or anything.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I just have to be like, oh well, he's really good. I can't do anything. Bye. But
Yeah.
uh,
You get the occasional, Xbox Live message, text message.
oh yeah,
Mm.
that's probably about it.
Yeah,
Like,
that's about the extent of it.
but that's only like somebody getting mad at you for being really good most of the time. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Like if I was
Usually.
playing on like the Xbox and like I won the game and then I'd get that message, that would just make me feel so smug.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
like,
I'm not
oh,
going to give somebody that satisfaction.
yeah. Like if it's happened like during the game, like I mean, one, I wouldn't even read the message because I'd be focused on the game.
Mm-hmm.
But then two, that's just kind of like I've never, well, when I was on console, I've never sent a message to someone, shit talking them or anything like that. Because I mean, it's more difficult. Like on PC, all you have to do is press enter, and then you can start typing. There you
Oh,
go.
yeah,
It's
for
a lot
sure.
quicker.
Whereas Xbox, you have to go into the menu, you then have to go through with a thumbstick, press A a bunch of times, and it's just not worth it. Like, just let it go.
Uh-huh.
All right. So unfortunately, we're almost out of time, and usually during this time we like to take some questions from the chat, but we actually have
Go for
some.
it, chat. Oh, we already got some. Oh my god.
Yeah,
You
actually,
guys are so good at this.
yeah,
Yeah.
we have a Google form actually where people could send in like topics and questions. So I'd rather
Mm.
Pulling from
I
there.
want to go to those
Yeah.
because they took the time to send in those messages. But unfortunately, we only have time for like one question right now.
I think we could do two,
Two?
8 and
Yeah.
9.
We'll just
8
keep
and
it
9.
short.
Okay,
Short
yeah,
answers.
okay, that's
Yeah.
okay, so is anybody here allergic to anything?
Not a damn thing. It's the one medical thing
Really?
I'm happy with. I don't have any
Not like
allergy.
an animal or like food?
Not
or...
a single thing.
Okay.
Not that I'm aware
That's
of.
there you go.
Everything else with me is falling apart, but that's one where I'm like that in my eyes. I have above like
Beautiful eyes.
considered like perfect
Oh my
Beautiful
vision.
eyes.
I'm
I
so
have
awful.
deteriorating vision.
What about you, Ray? Are you allergic to anything?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't think so. But
Okay.
yeah.
You guys are just immune to allergies? Okay, JeTz, I know you said something earlier.
Yeah. Earlier I said I'm not allergic to anything. Like after hearing GB struggle with like sesame, like holy
Oh,
crap,
that sounds
that
awful. Yeah.
Which is so weird. Like I think like the doctor like slipped or something as a baby. It's like I
sesame
got you
and
now,
dust.
kid.
Like, can you imagine being allergic to sesame and dust? That's like Jesus. Like,
Wait,
I felt,
dust?
yeah, she said that she's allergic to dust.
I mean, that's like
She has
spring
an allergy to
allergies,
it.
is it not?
Well,
That's
Or like
probably yeah. That could just be more of a general
Yeah.
allergy than
probably.
specifically dust.
But I
Uh,
mean, how fucking unfortunate. Like,
I mean, there's people like that are allergic to like vitamin D and they can't go outside because of
people
the
are
sun.
allergic.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's real
yeah.
bad.
I've heard about that as well. Like, that's
Human
just
body
crazy.
is really shitty.
Your name is
Yeah.
Dusty Laptop.
Okay,
Why are
Dusty
you allergic to
Laptop.
dust?
That's fucking perfect.
Excuse me? I feel like you're memeing at this point.
What about you, Gryphon?
I used to be very allergic to cats. Like I could not be in the same house as a cat. My
Is that
eyes
why
would
you're a dog
water.
person?
I just love dogs in general, but yeah,
Yeah.
that probably attributed also to why I like dogs more because I've never been allergic to dogs. So yeah, I would go into like somebody's house and like I'd walk in and immediately start feeling like, "Do you have a cat?" They're like, yeah. I'm like, oh shit!
Oh no! Oh no!
I have to walk out of the house and stuff because there's like cat hair everywhere in a house if you have a cat.
Yeah.
I think, and
Unlucky Bebops.
don't have food allergies. Thank God. That would suck,
Yeah.
wouldn't it? I feel bad for people who have like peanut allergies.
Yeah.
That's like one of the worst allergies.
I love peanut butter, so
Yeah.
that
Hell
that's,
yeah.
I would no.
Peanuts in general are amazing. Love it.
They are.
And who sent that in? It was Rocky that sent it in. So
Rocky.
thank you again, Rocky, for sending that question in.
What's
next
next?
one.
Rapid fire.
Musical instruments we would like to learn.
Yes.
I know how to play the saxophone. I still remember from high
What?
school, and I can pick it up
My
and play.
God.
Yep. Tenor
This
sax.
is actually an epic sax guy. There you
I
go.
knew it.
You looked like a sax guy.
You're a sexy guy.
Yeah. I wanted to play the I think it's called the bass sax or whatever, the big one that's like 6 feet tall. But they wouldn't let. They only had one, so I had to settle for the tenor.
Damn it.
Get that alto junk out of here. That little baby saxophone. Need those good bass sounds.
So what you're telling me is we need a Discord jazz album, and you're gonna have sax.
Sure.
I want to
Yes.
hear you play.
Yes.
Actually, saxophone.
Yes, I would love to hear that.
I don't own a sax, so
Oh my God.
Look, we're getting you one for Christmas.
Yeah,
they are very expensive. So good
We're
luck.
chipping in.
it's okay. We
Anyways.
know a YouTuber. Ray, you're there.
Instruments.
I don't play any, but what I'd like to learn if I had the time or patience, the piano and probably guitar.
Fair enough.
Keep-
Gryphon, go ahead.
Try to keep it sweet.
I would like to learn drums. I fucking
Mm.
love playing rock band
Mm.
drums, so I would like to actually know how to play like actual drums, or maybe also piano. Everybody loves the piano.
I feel like my hands are
Yeah.
too small for the piano, but I'll try anyway.
JeTz, what would you like to
Yeah.
learn?
I wanted to go last purely because I have a little bit more to talk about.
Trumpet.
Not trumpet. So as people know, I play the guitar. Self-taught. I also play piano a little. I pride myself in knowing how to play Mad World on piano. However, the very first instrument that I wanted to learn was drums. I always wanted to be a drummer, but my parents were like, "Nope, too loud." So I was like,
it is very
okay.
loud.
"Okay then. What else do I want to learn? Oh, I want to play bass."
Bass.
Mm.
Slap at the bass.
And my dad was like, "Nope, we're getting you a guitar." I was like, "But I just want to play bass." And it's like, "Nope." I was like, "Okay."
Bass is
So,
cool. I don't care what
yeah.
anybody says. Bass is fucking
Like,
awesome.
I always wanted to be a drummer, then I couldn't be a drummer, so I wanted to be a bassist, and couldn't even have a bass, so I got stuck with an acoustic that I think has fallen apart somewhere, and then I got my very first electric guitar and kind of self-taught myself. So yeah, I would love to play the drums.
Drums.
Absolutely love it.
Slapping bones. I don't know. what slang
Slap
is.
at the
You play-
bass.
Slap at the
Yeah.
bass. That's the only thing.
Very true, Dusty. A full professional drum set is expensive, but I mean, full professional anything is expensive. So,
For sure.
I mean, a piano would be like what, 5K? I swear, like unless you get like a
For
keyboard.
like
but I mean,
kind of like grand piano or something like that. then
well, yeah, but I mean, you have to, treat yourself.
Treat yourself. Treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That was unfortunately our last question / topic. But,
Yes, Nateka, thank you for
yeah, Nuteka,
sending
thank
that.
you. Mhm.
Shout out to Nintendo.
And there's a link to it in the bottom if you guys would like to send in more, because I know you guys send in questions in the chat and we can't
Mm.
get to all of them. So if you'd like us to answer something, definitely go in there.
Yeah.
But thank you again, Vest, for
Mhm.
being
Yes,
It was
thank you so
fun.
much.
a
Vest.
very amazing guest.
I talk a lot. I'm sorry.
It's great.
No, it's all right.
I love it.
Don't apologize.
Yeah, for sure. We loved having you. And we actually didn't get through a lot of the list, so we'll have much to talk about next week.
Yeah, we only went through half of the list.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
thank
mind. That means
you.
more stuff to talk about later.
So
Exactly.
next week, hopefully, Wingo joins us.
Hopefully he'll be here.
I do
Hopefully-
also want to point out I wasn't meant to be returning this week. I said, oh yeah, I'll be coming back next week, but Wingo was a no-show, so I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'll come back.
Called out, Wingo. Called out.
Yeah, I'm calling you out, Wingo,
Mm.
like I did the very first stream.
Literally
So
did it like 5 minutes before we were about to
yes,
get ready
yes,
and stuff.
5
like
minutes
that.
before, I was like, yeah, I had a look through the. Okay, all right. I read through the questions and I was like, yeah, depending on the questions, I'll make an appearance or not. And I was like, you know what, I like these questions. I'll come back. So, yeah.
Glad you came back.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
Glad to be back. I hope you guys in the chat enjoyed me back.
I know I did.
All right.
But yeah,
Thanks
guys,
again, everybody, for showing up.
We don't have a special guest planned for next week, right?
we
No.
don't.
Yeah, so we're
no.
trying to
we do
keep it like
not.
every other week or something.
Hopefully, it'll be the four of us. Wingo.
Yeah, Wingo will be the special guest.
Yeah. But again, thank you all for listening to us. I hope you guys had fun. We certainly had fun. And same time next week.
Yep.
So
Same time, same place.
Same place.
Next
Yeah,
week. Show
So,
up. Be there. Be square.
exactly. This VOD should hopefully be uploaded to YouTube. I'm going to try and upload it immediately after, so it should be up tonight. So
Thank you,
Bye,
everybody.
guys.
thank you for
again.
joining.
I'll see you guys next week.
Bye.